If you're planning to open a nursery, it's important for you to be aware of the different nursery setup costs in the UK. These costs will naturally vary from the location you choose to set up your nursery within, to staff wages, to everyday supplies like food and cleaning equipment. It is important to remember that the most important thing when setting up your nursery is the development and well-being of the children in your care. Therefore, it is essential to get your financial plan right from the beginning in order to provide the best quality care and ensure access to equipment and supplies at all times. Despite this being your priority, in order to have a viable business, you need to ensure your business is profitable in order to run smoothly and have long-term success. As a result, it's important for you to plan properly so you put the right money in order to get the right money out. So in this video, in order to help you, we will go over some of the key costs to consider when drawing up your business plan, so that you are financially prepared for some of the costs that may come your way. Plus, stick around to the end to see how you can get access to 2 free things that will help you to get started with your business plan and open your nursery. But first, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel, Open a Nursery with myself, Kurt Liania, where I teach you to open, run and grow your own childcare business. As already mentioned, in today's video, we are going over the different nursery setup costs involved with opening a nursery. As you might already be aware, purchasing an already set up nursery can be very expensive. So if you don't have a large budget and want to establish your own nursery, you will need to start budgeting for your nursery. Nursery costs will differ from nursery to nursery, as there are a variety of things to consider, such as the location you choose, whether you're using an existing nursery or you're starting from scratch, the size of your nursery, how many children you plan to take on, and the equipment you'll be using within your nursery. These are some of the key considerations to think about before you can start planning to open your nursery, as you will not only need to cover the cost of these things, but also additional costs like running your nursery, hiring staff, purchasing insurance, and marketing your business. So let's get straight into what costs you need to consider. The costs you incur with running and opening your nursery are split into 2 sections: your setup costs and your ongoing costs. Planning for both of these is important if you want your nursery to be successful. But in today's video, we will just go over the cost of setting up your nursery. Starting with your nursery building. The building you choose for your nursery will likely be one of your biggest expenditures when starting up. If you find a building that is in a good state, then you won't need to spend lots doing it up. Then you just may need to pay for minor things like safety checks, painting, and new equipment, meaning that you may be able to open a nursery quicker than usual. However, if you decide you need to convert the building or even build a nursery from scratch, then this will take a lot longer and cost a lot more. When thinking about your premises, you have to remember to take into account the legal aspects too, as there are specific government guidelines that you need to adhere to. For example, with regards to space and how many children you can have based on the usable space of the building. You also need to think about other things like how many toilets or hand basins you may need. This naturally means that the more children you want to have, the more space you'll need to provide for them in order to provide the correct facilities. So with regards to the building, you need to think about the cost of the rent or mortgage if you're getting a mortgage, and any deposits you'll need to pay in order to secure the building prior to you opening. The second key cost that you need to think about, which was alluded to in the building section, is any refurbishments and renovations you will need to do to the building. Regardless of what type of building you get for your nursery, it's likely you'll need to do some form of renovations and refurbishment in order to make the nursery yours. Even simple tasks can add up and become a larger cost, as you'll need to not only factor in the cost of equipment, but potentially the cost of hiring professionals too. Some common renovation and refurbishment costs include doing up your kitchen. So for example, you may need to install professional kitchen equipment, such as ovens, microwave, fridges and units, so you can store or prepare food for your children. You may need to have a laundry room where you store a washing machine or a dryer in order to wash things like bedding or any clothes that you have in the nursery. Installing flooring could be another cost. You may want to put soft rubber flooring in some areas, and install carpet and rugs to make it more homely and potentially avoid slips and falls. As already mentioned, toilets and hand basins may need to be installed too. You need to have sufficient toilets for the children that you care for. So for example, you couldn't have like a 30-place nursery with just one toilet. Renovating your outdoor space is usually one of the biggest expenditures too. as you may be purchasing outdoor equipment and laying flooring outside. You should provide a quiet area for children too. So you may want to renovate and refurbish areas, creating a quiet, cozy area. So after you've renovated your building, you will now have the appropriate facilities to run your nursery. So now it's time to consider the equipment that you are going to purchase. Depending on the types of activities you plan to offer in your nursery and the type of brand you want to create for your nursery will determine what equipment you require for it. So what you purchase for your nursery may be slightly different to the nursery that you visited or to any other nursery. But visiting nurseries for yourself is a good first step to decide what equipment you may want to purchase. So for example, a nursery that doesn't have a large outdoor area will not need to purchase an extensive amount of outdoor equipment. However, more often than not, nurseries will have similar equipment and similar facilities, as it is important to adhere to government guidance on developing children and offer children access to an outdoor space, a quiet area, tables, chairs, art supplies, and a variety of toys and books. As a nursery owner, you will need to provide a wide selection of toys in order to maximize the learning and development of every child. Some ideas of items to purchase to help get you started are mats, carpets and cushions, chairs, tables and art supplies, reading resources and outdoor equipment. There are also insurance and registration costs to consider in order to protect your business, your staff, and most importantly, the children in your care. You will need to consider purchasing several types of insurance to ensure that you are covered in any eventuality. These may include policies that cover things such as public liability insurance, employer's liability insurance, professional indemnity insurance, commercial property insurance, and business interruption insurance. Don't worry if this is all new to you. As mentioned, at the end of the video, I will show you ways that I can support you to help you to open your own nursery, helping you with all these sorts of steps plus lots and lots more. But again, the cost of these policies will differ based on the number of children you have and how many staff you employ, plus also the needs of your nursery overall. Nevertheless, insurance policies are a requirement before you even open your nursery, so you need to consider the cost of these in your setup costs. Other legal costs to consider in your setup costs include the cost of registering your nursery and the cost of registering your business. Another key cost to include in your setup cost is your staff. There are a wide range of staff that you will need to recruit for if you plan to open your own nursery. You will need to factor in the cost of recruiting, your staff wages, and the cost of any training you provide for your staff within your nursery setup costs. Depending on the size of your nursery and the number of children you'll be taking care of, you may need the following staff: a nursery manager, a nursery deputy manager, room leaders, and several nursery practitioners or apprentices at both full-time and part-time level, as well as potentially kitchen and cleaning staff too. Each staff member that you hire will have different salaries based on the role that they'll be performing and may require different levels of training based on the experience that they've had. This can take up a sizable proportion of your setup costs and will continue to be an ongoing cost, forming part of your running costs once you set up. Once you've secured your building, you should start thinking about marketing your nursery. You want to build a buzz around your nursery and should start marketing as early as possible. Marketing and advertising doesn't need to be a large setup cost. And you can find some great ideas to market your nursery in this book, 99 Proven Ways to Market Your Childcare Business, which contains lots of different ways, including lots of free ways that you can market to parents. But although marketing doesn't have to be expensive, it is a crucial part of your setup costs, as it is an essential step if you are going to attract parents. This again, once set up, will be an ongoing cost for your nursery, but once you start reaching capacity, it should hopefully be less costly for you. Some things you may do to market your nursery include creating a website for your nursery, putting posters up around your area, hosting open days or nursery visits, and content marketing, such as writing blogs or posting on social media. When choosing your marketing, it's best to weigh out which ones will work best for you in order to attract families to your nursery, and also which ones you enjoy doing. As for example, you don't want to choose social media as a marketing effort if you don't really enjoy it, as you will end up not being consistent with it. Another key setup cost is your everyday consumables. You will need to purchase some of the equipment that you plan to use day to day before you set up. These will form part of your ongoing and your running costs, but you will need some before opening. Consumables such as cleaning equipment, food, and medical supplies should be purchased regularly to ensure that your nursery is always well stocked. However, in your initial setup stages, you should set money aside for these materials as well. And finally, your running costs. Your running costs don't necessarily form part of your setup costs. However, you should budget for this at the start, especially for the first few months before you start making a profit, as you don't want to run into a situation whereby you are starting to see things pick up with your nursery in terms of the number of children you're getting in, but you don't have enough funds in order to keep things going, preventing you from reaching your goals and your targets. Your running costs will include your everyday consumables, as mentioned previously, as well as things like rent, staff wages and marketing. But as we've gone over in this video, there are lots of different setup costs to consider when starting your own nursery business. There are multiple costs to plan for, from renovation and refurbishments to staffing costs and day-to-day supplies. And setup costs is only one part of your business plan. Alongside this, you will need to consider the services you will offer, marketing your business, choosing a location, and adhering to government regulations. So there's a lot to think about before your nursery's even opened its doors. So thankfully, to support you, for those of you that's made it this far, I'm going to offer you 2 free gifts to help you. Just go to the description or the comments now and firstly download your free nursery business plan template. This is a simple business plan template structured specifically for a nursery and will help you to get started planning and opening your nursery. So go to the description or the comments and download it now for free. But before you go there, don't forget the second free offering. Get started opening your own nursery right now by enrolling on the free course which you can see on the screen now. On this course, you will work on your survival budget so that you can make sure that you have enough money to cover your own personal finances. You'll also get further support writing your business plan, and you will learn the key steps involved with opening your own nursery. So if you want to get started opening your own nursery, then enroll on the free course now. Just click the link in the description or in the comments. Good luck with your journey, and as always, I'm always here to support you. God bless.